5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are we up? Are we up? If it wasn't funny, it would be funny, you know. Can I get to work? Is it okay? The Zoom is out of the, it's not plugged in. It's not turned on, it's not plugged in. It's dead. There's no power in it. The output from it goes onto the floor. It is not connected to this thing. So. I don't know. Okay. Wrong glasses. It's not connected. It is not physically connected. So, the internet yokai to show, that was a battery-eating yokai, that one. I don't think that's our issue here. No, there's power everywhere, but... I don't know. I feel a bit like my dad, years ago. I know he's long gone now, but he had him and computers and technology, of course. Because he thought he would never be able to do it, then of course he was never able to do it. He would touch a computer, something would go wrong, and just things went from there. They went from better to worse. They went from worse to worse. So in the early days, we would try and get him to use the computer to play back music and stuff like this. He loved Frank Sinatra, so I put a bunch of Frank Sinatra music on the house computer. But he could never get the hang of it, and something like this would go wrong, and he would think he had broken something. So he never, he never got. And I'm feeling the same thing. It's with this audio setup, whatever. Getting to the point where I just don't want to even think about it anymore. What has Hokusai got to do with this? These days, with the shop, none of the girls are here, so I don't hear that much. Shiba-san, she's the one who was really serious about that. Shiba-san and Teiko-san. They're the ones who would not let go years ago when we were doing this. They would just not let go. I forget how it was resolved. They didn't threaten to quit, but they really, really said, basically, they said, Dave, this is not about you. Something else too, I'm not going to touch this. The outside mic, we're running 2 mics here at the moment. The truck just went by. My own mic has a certain volume control, gain control. And the outside mic at the moment is set with the gain quite a bit down. I was thinking it would give an ambience. But the trucks or something might be too much. So let me know. At the moment, the outside audio is set much, much lower than the inside one. see somebody else again is asking about how deep. Every day we get the same question here. It's okay. My cherry veneer is about 5 millimeters, and I am not going through it. I will never in my life ever get below 4 or 5 millimeters. We just don't need to go down much farther than that. We're printing with good strong paper that stays flat. If you've got soggy paper, you might have an issue of touching down inside. But our paper is good and strong. We use a perfectly flat, flat rubbing tool. We never need to go down much deeper. But it's there's no rule, and it's really easy. Just make a block, and if it's making marks, go deeper. Just start shallow and go deeper. If it's too deep, it's difficult to rub your brush across the top surface of the wood. Look, you've been doing this in a bit of a funny way. We should have cleared the whole thing off, but let's stay quiet for a while. Let's clear this now down here. I can zoom in, obviously. Let's zoom in closer. I touched something. Did it break anything? Bit higher on the rain, lower on the truck. So I can't help you there. I can't do anything about that. It's one mic that's outside. It's not a rain mic and a truck mic. And I'm not going to really touch anything, but whatever. So the schedule for today and tomorrow, I know you can see what's happening. I'll be doing this face today. I don't think I'll be getting it finished. I'm going to clean this now, persuade that and clean that. There's one more face which still needs persuading and cleaning. So today's Monday. Monday we'll work on this, and then probably Thursday we'll be working on this one. It's too soon to project the next job after that. As far as stuff to show, I do have an interesting show and tell today. It's not a woodblock print, but it's related to one of the themes we've been talking about a couple of weeks ago. To me, it's quite an interesting show and tell. It's one of the things that came. I've been preparing the next YouTube video, and today's show and tell is related to the preparation work for that video, which, if you remember, is going to be about the Tokaido. So today's show and tell is related to that. When I started prep on the video, getting a sort of, I keep saying script, it's not a script. When I got the content, the talk ready, I realized there's one thing that I myself have been curious about on the Tokaido. I have some information, but I thought it would be really interesting to show a specific thing about the Tokaido. So I went hunting in used books. And I found something last week, and it came in a couple of days ago, so let's have a look at it. Other news, I got a couple of phone calls and emails from Sugu-san yesterday. She's been working on the first print in the 8 Views of Cats series. And the phone call, she sent me a sample image. She wanted to talk about it, and the content of it was that she has finished the print, and she wanted to know details about where I wanted the location of the embossing name on the print. So it's done. The first of the 8 Views of Cats is now physically finished. She is putting the embossing on yesterday. She must have dried it. Today she'll be wrapping it up and sending it to me. So we are pretty much ready to finally launch the first print in the 8 Views of Cats. So you'll see that here on the next stream, Thursday morning stream. We'll be showing the first print. It looks good. It's simple. And we've tried to make these prints, we haven't gone overboard with these prints. We can't in this era, we have to keep these prints relatively accessible and affordable. So it's going to be nowhere near as much as our Ukiyo-Hirose prints, nowhere near it. The sushi cats and ramen cats and stuff, they're expensive, not expensive, whatever. They're $150, but these are going to be way less. We're under $100, way under $100. Yeah, the first of the month. Cameron will be busy this morning, absolutely, I guess. Or he may not actually even be at work this morning. It's the first of the month, and Denkun, Cameron's son, is starting. It's a preschool, I guess. He's starting today. And so Cameron actually may be fairly occupied, because I don't think that little youngster is going to take to this. So the subscription billing for this month, for the first of the month, might actually be a little bit late. So you'll see. I show something on shipping, and too, shipping has worked out really quite well. Certainly speaking for the US-based customers, it's now really well up and running. We're shipping all of our US-based stuff now, FedEx, not directly to each customer. That's way too expensive. We're batching it, and once a week we ship to, Jed's place. And he's got an assistant who has been working with him for a long time, packing and shipping his own work. So she is now working for us, doing all of our US-based stuff. So we send it in bulk, FedEx there, and they then drop it into the US postal system, which seems to be completely working okay. Europe, most European countries, the main European countries where we have subscribers, are still open for postal work. Germany is okay, France, the UK. Unfortunately, the Scandinavian countries aren't, so we're not unable to ship our Scandinavian customers work. Yeah, on the webpage, if you go to the website, if you're thinking about ordering prints, when you get to the shopping cart, just before you go to the shopping cart, you can see there's a notice on there about what we're doing with shipping, which countries we can ship to, which countries we can't, what sort of delays we have been encountering. Of course, there's information on the website. Oceania is out, Australia and New Zealand, we have no way to get stuff down there. Individual FedEx shipments could go, but that's extremely expensive. So for subscription prints, it's just not an option. We don't have enough people down there to be able to batch stuff yet. If we had dozens and dozens of subscribers in Australia, we could batch it like we do with Jed, send it to somebody. But we don't have that many down there, so Australia at the moment, I'm sorry, just has to wait. It shouldn't be long, I think, because they seem like they're coming out of this thing. So. Hearing those footsteps, it reminds me about the shoe lady who used to come. I haven't seen her now in many months. Either she's moved or changed jobs or changed a working pattern or working from home or something. I don't know. I haven't heard her footsteps now and seen her go by for a long time. Well, I'm not using the scope. I'm trying to wean myself off it a little bit. You know, it's a bit silly to use a microscope for stuff like this, clearing work. You know, it really is a bit silly. The microscope, in theory, should have been just for the super total delicate work, but we've used it recently to try and keep the workplace under the camera view. But it's a bit, actually, sometimes it's a bit embarrassing. Why would David using a microscope for stuff like the work I'm doing right now? You know, it's not like I'm blind yet. So what I've done is I've zoomed a bit farther out. You can see the lens here. What's our distribution around the world? Well, at the moment, I don't know. The numbers are all blown to hell. But last year, we had, I know, again, this is sort of roughly, Cameron gave me some numbers. It was, I forget, November, December last year. And we're looking at about 60% of our orders and subscribers are for one single country, the US. About 60%. Then it was something over 20 to 25 was the European, the EU thing. And that's a mix of England, Germany, France, Spain, Italy, whatever. And that gave us about 80% of everything, and then the rest is scattered around the world. Everything, Canada, Australia, Mexico, Taiwan. Almost nothing for China. There's a huge hole in our market, China, for two reasons. It's partly because of YouTube not being a part of their internet ecosystem, and part of it because Chinese and Koreans are not so interested in what we do. Soka Monday, the show must be the first and third, first Monday of the month, Soka. It's the dangerous garbage, the broken glass, the bits of metal, the things have got more lively. Tokyo is now off the lockdown. This last couple of days was very lively here in Asakusa. I'm not myself so happy with that. I think we're going to see, clearly there's going to be a resurgence in infections. Same thing is happening in many, many places, America, whatever you name it. But yes, it was quite lively, not back to normal. The Kaki, the oyster restaurant next to us, is opening today. I myself still won't be going to any of the restaurants. I'm going to play it super safe myself. My own diet now for the past couple of months has been prepared food or ordered in from Amazon. Or, excuse me. Every few days I make a nighttime trip to one of the convenience stores, 7-Eleven or whatever, and stock up for a few days. Yeah, maybe Chinese younger kids might be interested in anime and stuff. That might be so, but again, all I know is in general, and I'm speaking. This before the whole virus thing happened, Asakusa here is a hotbed of tourism, incoming tourism, and a huge amount, of course, of Chinese tourists. And they would drop in. You know, people would walk down the street and come in, and then just leave. Oh, that's what it is. It's those things, those Japanese prints. Oh, it's those. Again, speaking completely generally. They just were not simply interested in this. And I have my pet theory about this. They have their own woodblock prints, which in their mind are pretty much the same thing. They have Chinese traditional woodblock prints, same as Koreans do. And if you don't actually know anything about it, you might think, oh, it's the same stuff. You know, like Japanese writing looks like Chinese writing, right? When I was a kid, I had no idea. Chinese, Japanese, all the same to me. So if you don't know anything about it, it sort of looks the same, and they might think that they've got the same thing over there, and over there it's much cheaper. So I think that's one part of it. It's actually a completely, totally different technical process and a different concept. But a casual visitor doesn't know that. And then, as I said, the Google thing. So whereas many of the Western customers coming here already know who I am and what we're doing and everything else because they've seen videos, most of the Chinese people haven't got that background of it. You know, so. Is there a good market for wood from China? I have no idea what you mean. I don't know. You mean the wood that we use for our own work here? I would have never even remotely thought that we could be importing it from China. Is there a good market for wood from China? I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean. Chinese and Japanese woodblock prints totally different. They had it first. They had it much earlier. If the people who study the history and stuff, woodblock printing is way earlier over there. Well, it's, you know, obviously the continental civilization was up and running long before the island civilizations were, you know, at the end. So they had all those kind of things first, paper making and woodblock printing before. But the technical aspects of it are completely, totally different. You know, without wanting to give a whole long lecture all over again, we talked about this quite a few times. You know, Chinese woodblock printmaking developed a certain way because what they were interested in doing first was they were interested in replicating text. They wanted to make books and printed matter and stuff like that. And the Chinese paper, because it had been mostly developed for working with calligraphy and brushes, was a very thin paper with not so much body. We called it gasenshi. you've seen calligraphy paper. It's really, really quite thin and floppy, and it's good for their brushing. But it wouldn't have been something you could use for a process like this. It didn't matter because it wasn't used for that. Then when Chinese woodblock printmaking came along, and this would be whatever, 1200, 13, 14, 1500, some were the first experiments in making it. Because they used that kind of thin paper, because that's all they had, then their printmaking developed in a way that it didn't involve multi-layered colors, it didn't involve heavy burnishing, it involved just touching up, touching here and there to apply color to the paper. And most of it was in imitation of watercolor painting. So their version of woodblock prints was basically a printed version of watercolor paintings. At some point, some of those works made their way across to Japan, and the Japanese got the idea, oh, woodblock printing, we can do this, we can do this. But because the physical paper that was being made in Japan was very dramatically different from the Chinese paper, and this goes way, way back before printmaking started, paper making was a different kind of thing here in Japan. Japanese paper was using mulberry fibers and Mitsumata fibers, and was very thick, heavy, rich, dense paper. So it turned out that once printmaking came along as an idea, they used the paper that was around, the Japanese paper. And because the paper was so different, it allowed of a different kind of technology to develop. Multi-layered colors, you could do that on Japanese paper. Heavy burnishing, you could do that on Japanese paper. So because the paper was different, the prints ended up looking and feeling completely, totally different. Then on top of that, you have the cultural differences, the Japanese craftsmanship, the way they carefully made stuff is clearly quite different from the typical Chinese ethic of how they did stuff. About customs issues. For us now, for most countries that we send to, the North American countries and all the places in EU, the specific items that we sent, handmade woodblock prints, there is no duty now in any of those countries. There might be like in Kazakhstan or something, I don't know about that, but the normal major countries that I mentioned before, America, the major EU, well, all the EU countries by law, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the products that we send, there's no duty on them. And when they do arrive at your country, there's no duty needed to be paid, but you will, for many countries, need to pay your local, it might be called a sales tax, it might be called a VAT, value-added tax. Those are applicable to products no matter what they are. But there is no duty on woodblock prints. As I said, to most developed countries these days. Okay, that's done. This is done. This is done. That's the quiet thing. I now have to get persuading. We have to get persuading. I have to get persuading. I think our compressor is going to handle it, so I don't think you need to panic. But again, just to mention, those of you with headphones on, the mood is going to change now. We are going to start banging, making some noise. And it'll take, I don't know, just a few minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Compression is enabled. We are running compression all the time. Compression is in the OBS, the broadcaster software. This is what I was doing the other day before the stream started. I did A and B testing for over an hour, trying the different compression settings. Okay, we got our zone here. We're okay. We should be. Look. I think we are okay. Okay, let's do this. We don't normally see it like this halfway through the show, so you can see the goal. There's the yellow areas. That's the land. We're going to clear the oceans. Here we go. See you in a few minutes. Both ways chipping out, and there's no good way. Two mics. Just should I... Soka, I've got an audio delay on this mic, but no audio delay in the outside mic, and they can hear me. I'm not going to muck with that right now. I'll fix that overnight. No, don't worry, I'm not going to muck with it. But what I can do is I can turn the audio down on the outside mic. Which is which? Look at this, don't touch, don't touch, don't touch. We're still here, right? We're still here. Change nothing. Change nothing. It's funny, it's 120 milliseconds it turned out. The other day when I was doing all this audio testing, my mouth wasn't lining up with the... Yeah, I'll put the street cam back. It's just the audio. Just give me 1 minute. Finish making the noise here. I'll put it back. Just a sec. Now the stuff, the chisel's too big, the other one's too small. Let's be careful here. This is really dangerous. Chop away something that shouldn't be chopped. Yeah, I mean it's dangerous, but it's got to be done. I have to get in there and do it. I can't not do it. So, just Dave, be careful. Like right this, for example, is there anything there? I don't. No, I don't think so. I think that's all the damage I can do with this tool. It's like watching someone on a high wire. I don't get it. People are worried about this, There's no, I don't know how to exaggerate this. There's no loss of control. In fact, it's much easier. Aoyama and I were talking about this the other day. We're getting the new tools ready. And one of the tools he's got in the new set it's a U-gouge, a handheld U-gouge. I don't have any. I can't show you one. And when you move it with your hands, you push and push and push. And there's sort of not so much control. I use the same U-gouge like this, not by hand, but with a hammer, and it's much safer with a hammer. Much safer. Whatever. I put it where I want it to go, my hand is holding this. We're not going to blast it through. I'm tapping through. This is much, much safer. I can tap right here with no danger of hitting that because I'm not tapping anything more than a couple of millimeters at a time. This is far safer. If I was trying to do it like this, scoop like this, scoop like this, it's much more likely to smash forward because I can't control it. But here on the block, my hand is on the block, I've got my chisel, I'm tapping. So all of this, oh my God, it's intense, Dave's going to get something broken. This is the safest way to do it. The Persuader is my safest tool. Okay, let's put the outside audio back to where it was. I can touch the controls. It's when I move the whole computer, that's what's going. I was talking about SpaceX. I watched the docking last night. It was good. Usually that stuff doesn't hit the time zone for me, but it was nice. Just before I went to bed, I watched the docking. Those two guys, I got to feel bad for those two guys. You know, they're sitting there. These people are like they're jet pilots. I mean, not just jet pilots. They're test pilots. They've grown up, and they were literally twiddling their thumbs. You got to feel bad for them, you know. You got to feel bad. I'd like to do it. I'd like to go on one of those trips, but the guys were just sitting there. You know, we had the video feed, and they were just like this. You know. Seeing that last night, it made me think about this. That capsule they're in is sort of empty. They've got the touch panels. There's no switches. There's no circuit breakers. There's no pieces of wire. There's no nothing. You think back to the Apollo 13 thing, you know, where they had the explosion, and they'd got some duct tape, and they taped this, and they changed that hose and put it here. If something went wrong for those two guys last night or this next season, you know, as it goes forward with this, there's nothing they can do. They're sitting in plastic chairs with 3 touch screens, and there's nothing. There's no duct tape. There's no valves. There's no switches. Whatever. Maybe there's panels to take off. I don't know. But it's like the old Model T. It breaks down. You can get out of the car, hang your jacket up, and fix the car, and get your jacket back on and keep driving. With a modern car, it's all black boxes, and you can't get in there. It was fun. I enjoyed watching it, and I'm just, wow, that human beings can do such things. It's just wonderful. Yeah, I mean, the manual control test they did, you know, you can see the guy, okay, move a little bit up to the right, move down to the right, move to the right. They had to keep the guys occupied for something and test to make sure that that would work, but whatever. I mean, that generation, these guys are actual test pilots. They've thrown around F-15s or whatever and stuff like that. But as you move forward to another generation and another generation, the guys who will be quote unquote piloting those things a generation from now, there's no reason to have test pilots, you know, so whatever. But during this transition period, you know, would I ride in that thing, you know? It's an interesting question. I suppose they had this program where that, you know, in order to help publicize what they're doing and stuff, they're giving a free seat on every trip to the space station. You know, I think that capsule takes 7 people max, I think. Okay, they've got 6. They've got astronauts and engineers and whatever, and they're going to do one freebie on each trip. And they pick names out of a lottery or something, whatever. Okay, Dave gets his name picked. There you are, Dave. Head over to Florida. You're on the next trip. Would I do that? I mean, it's clearly not safe yet. This is still experimental. These are huge explosive rockets, and you know they've lost some of them, and they're going to lose some somewhere down the line. Those guys know, you know, the space shuttle experience we had. Would I take a ride on that? The risk, nay. Pleasure of the experience versus the possible risk my life might be cut short. I'm 68. The amount of time I've got left anyway is reduced. Whatever. Would I go? No, it's not going to be safe in the aircraft sense ever, actually, of course. It's never going to be that safe. I mean, they're already, the amount of redundancies and checks and stuff is already even much more strict than what we do with aircraft, and that's already extremely strict. The problem is it's the lack of experience and the much more powerful dynamics that are involved, you know. In terms of checking and quality control, it's way, way more strict than the aircraft are already, you know. Yeah, I don't think I could get any work done up there. I think there was one of the, there was something didn't they do this with a space shuttle once or something? They had a deal where artists could something like that. It was something years and years and years ago. If you were an artist, you could apply to be involved with the space program because they wanted to have some art created, whatever. I mean, that wouldn't be my bag anyway, but. Would I go? My mother would have a bird. Oh my God, my mother would have a bird. What are you thinking of? How's our time? What is it? 9:53. Hi. Yeah, the teacher in space. So that was, just a bit too soon. I get what they were doing. I understand the why and how and whatever. But boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. I remember that day. Anthony, I remember that day. That was a bad day. That's the understatement of the century. Stream problems, Nani? Spinning. Trying to work, you know. Yeah. Can't see it. Is it just one of the garbage trucks down there somewhere? Is there show and tell? Yes. Yes, there's an interesting show and tell today. It'll take about 15 minutes. So give me another 15 minutes of work first, and then we'll talk about it. It's a book I want to show. With just the right light, the pole this side levitates as well? Really? Famous floating poles of Asakusa. Better do something to get the tourists back. Try closing both your eyes, then you can see it. there's something I'm not sure if I should tell about yesterday's work or not. It might make you guys. I know yesterday's plan, Sunday, I was going to actually, quote, take the quote unquote day off. But what I was going to do was work completely on a video script, not for the next, David's Choice video, the one about the Tokaido. I was going to work on the video script for something else. We chatted before about this, and I'm planning perhaps some videos and presentations that are nothing to do with woodblock printmaking. So just playing with an idea for the future, whatever. And recently I've been doing this on Sunday. I've been taking Sunday. Cameron takes Sunday off for his reasons. I took Sunday off to do this. So the last 2 Sundays I've been doing that sort of thing. So yesterday I got up in the morning, and I was going to spend the whole day on nothing to do with woodblock printmaking, just work on this pie in the sky future project that could turn out to be something or might not turn out to be something. I was really looking forward to it. I got a day off. I'm going to do this. I get my cup of coffee, and there's a bang downstairs. A delivery guy's coming. It's the Takibin guy who normally comes. Like, you've seen him sometimes on the street. He comes around 9 o'clock or so. He drops something off. I think, what's that? I didn't buy anything in auctions, whatever. So I get my coffee, stumble downstairs, and I open the box. It was good news. It wasn't bad news. It was good news. It was the key block. I'll show it to you in a few minutes. It was the key block for the, which month? September. For the September print in this year's series. And it came on Sunday, along with a note from Kawasaki-san. The carver says, I've done this. I'm now ready to get started on the color blocks, ... Which means this is Sunday. Monday, she wants to get started in color blocks. So yesterday's job for me was put away the video planning. Dave, get down here and prepare the color separations for her print. So that was yesterday's job, going to Jed's Photoshop file, trying to figure out how to make it work as a woodblock print. It was good fun. The reason I tell you this story now is that I did the color separations, got them planned, printed them out, and I had to do 8 transfer sheets. So I sat here on this bench in the afternoon from about 1 till about 4, drawing the colors, pasting it on, peeling it off, drawing the colors, pasting it on, peeling it off. I did 8 peels, one after the other, full-bodied, full, long, straight peels. I was thinking I should save this for Monday morning stream. But I couldn't do that. I had to ship the thing Sunday afternoon, so she will now get it this morning and start working. But that could have been so much fun. I could have got them all ready. And one after the other, we could have done 8 peels. Octo peel. Chocolate eggs, octo peel. There were 4 pieces of wood both sides. It would have been a stream to remember. And today, what do we got? This boring stuff. I'm just chipping. Sorry, it's all work that has to be done. So. That one's going to be an interesting print, actually. I shouldn't actually perhaps say this, but I do have, among the work we're doing, some that, wow, I like this one, or that one's whatever, And we should never publish something that is, Dave says, whatever. But the point being, there is stuff that, is sometimes more of a challenge, or it's more interesting, whatever. And this one, the 10, it's the October, no, it's September. I don't remember what month it is. September, can I? Yeah, we haven't designed October's yet. It's the September print for this year's series. And it is going to be fun. Jed has he's sketched something from one of the famous animes, and he's riffed from 2 designers. One designer Kawase Hasui, and the other designer you perhaps may not know unless you're a print geek, and it's an Englishman from the early 20th century called Rigdon Reed. And he was pretty much self-taught. He spent a bit of time with Urashibata-san, apparently. Pretty much self-taught. And he did a print called Stormy Seas. If you Googled Rigdon Reed Stormy Seas, you'll come up with a print. And the reason we were looking at his work is because this print, it's in reference to one of the famous animes we've been referencing. where there are some stormy seas. Show and tell time. Coming up. Just let me finish this corner. Well, I am actually sweating. It's getting hot now. What are we? 1st of June. Has the weather changed overnight? I'm sweating here. Someone's asking this print. I don't know. It's on my own website. If you Google, Rigdon Reed Stormy site woodblock.com, you'll find it because it's on my own website. Okay, where's the? Here it is. This is from yesterday's work. This is not the show and tell. Show and tell's coming. This is from yesterday's work. This is the bare bones of a design. She finished the key block, which is the key block here, and I had to do the color separations yesterday. I don't want to touch things. Rigdon Reed, Stormy Seas, woodblock.com. It's there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We can look for it later. So we've got a scene here. We've got fishing boats. It's a port. And the boats are starting to rock back and forth. We have an empty space here, and we have a storm. It's the onset of a major storm. And this is fun. It is going to be a fun print. It's dark, it's night, there's a town in the background, there's a couple of windows with light shining, and there's wind and there's rain. There's 2 rain blocks on this print. She's done a nice job on the key block. Not so much taste on this one, because these are mostly mechanical lines. You know, you've got a mast of a boat and railings. There's not much you can do with them. You don't make them look like brush strokes. But so there's not much that shows at this stage about the taste of this print. Has someone got it? mokohankan.com. It's on the Mokohank Stormy Seas, maybe. Whatever. So imagine this again with rain and dark and gloomy lights in the background and waves crashing up against these boats here, and you'll see. Okay, so that's coming out. That's what I did yesterday. Peel, 8 peels. Okay. So as I said, I told you what this was. It's Tokaido, obviously related to the Tokaido. This is not woodblock prints. This is something I looked for and purchased to help me put together the next video that's coming up. And this is Tokaido, Eastern Sea Road. And it's the name, I don't need a history lesson here, it's the name of the old highway between Tokyo, Edo, and Kyoto. In fact, so what this book is, here, it shows you roughly where the thing was. This book was published in, let me peek to the back page. John Becker will have the answer to this in seconds, as soon as I tell him what it is. It was published in Taisho. I thought it had the information on the back page. Just a minute here. Wow. Yes, Taisho 7. Taisho 7, 1916? 1916? I don't remember. Taisho 7. John's got it. 1916. Everybody's good at something, and John is good at Taisho Irene. So what we got here, this is a 1916 book. So what they've done is they've shown the old stages of the road from Edo down to Kyoto. This is just the seacoast. And then they've put together with it a modern, ultra-modern view showing the railways and stuff like that on the topographical maps. This is modern 1916 as opposed with the Edo era. What this book is, and the reason I bought it to help make this next video, somebody in 1916 had the bright idea. Let's compare the old Hiroshige images from the Tokaido with how it looks right now. And they sent photographers out they sent a team of photographers clearly to say, okay guys, find those locations, do what you can, and let's see how the old Tokaido Road. Now I'll never know. 1916, 18, I don't know. So they sent guys out with their cameras to find, and this has happened many, many times over the years. I've got a similar book to this in my workshop in Ome, and it's from maybe something 1960 or so. They did the same thing, find the old locations and do it. And they're like, whatever, it doesn't look even remotely close. And some people have done it even nowadays. And you try and find the locations and whatever, it doesn't even look remotely close. It turns out in 1918, let's have a look at some of these. I'm not going to show all 55. At the beginning, you know the Hiroshige print, it's the Nihonbashi, the bridge, and there's fishermen and stuff. Not fishermen, but fish salesmen. Why are the fish salesmen here? In this era, there was no Tsukiji fish market. Well, there isn't now either, but there was no Tsukiji fish market. The main fish market in Edo was underneath and around the Nihonbashi bridge. So in the picture from the early 1900s, we have, interestingly enough, the same bridge that exists now. It turns out that bridge was built in 1911. Just before this book was made. So the bridge that we have in this ultra-modern view is the same bridge that we have now. So okay, now this is no big deal. There's an old print with a bridge and a modern thing with a bridge. But some of these are, let me have a look at it. Let me skip through here because you can see where they're going on. The very next one, there's a picture, it's railroad tracks, and there's a sea on the left, and there's some houses and a road going off in the distance, and that is clearly, it's exactly the same place. So Hiroshige, at the beginning of the Tokaido, did look at the places and try to do something fairly realistically. Some of these are, I'm like, you got to be kidding. Let me find a few. Again, there's no time for all 53. Here we go. This is Hodogaya. It's now part of Yokohama. There's the scene. There's a little sort of rural village here. This is in the outskirts of Tokyo with a bridge going on. And the camera crew found on the old Tokaido Road, exactly. There's the bridge over that little river. This is an era in 1911 where lots of construction and stuff is going on. And we've got the same bridge and the same little pathway. Here's another one. This is the next one down the line. This is Totsuka. And again, none of these look like this anymore at all. There it is. We've got it's a little junction place. So there's a signpost saying over this way to the, where's it pointing to? Kamakura Kaido, kana? And then there's the little bridge coming over with the guy and the signpost, and we have exactly the same view. The little bridge coming over, the way station just at this end of the bridge, and the other road going down off on the left. Clearly, this thing actually existed pretty much as Hiroshige drew those things. Look at this one. Look at this one. Look at this one. This is Hiratsuka. It's a town out in Kanagawa, Hiratsuka. And like, this is a real mountain like Hiroshige. What are you doing? Mountains don't look like that. And, woe behold, there actually was a domed mountain like this. Now, after I got this book, I thought, wait. So I went to Google, the Google Street View. And you can find it. I don't have a link here for you today. If you go to Hiratsuka, look in Google Street View, and there is a domed mountain. And actually, in the modern view, it looks even a bit higher than this. It looks almost exactly like this. Hiroshige did. It's a real mountain. It's not a graveyard or something. It's an actual mountain. Where are we? This one is interesting. This now you can see where this is artistic license coming in. This is the famous view of Hakone, of course. This is Lake Asahi with Mount Fuji. We've all been here. And the very graphic mountain on the right-hand side and the pathway going up through it. And the guys tried to find a similar with Lake Asahi. Now, obviously, clearly, there's a mountain there. There's a pathway there. We know it doesn't look like this. So Hiroshige is now, you've seen one mountain, you've seen them all. Let's make this thing look a bit more dramatic. So he has clearly now started to add a certain amount of Lake Asahi. Lake Ashi. What did I say? Did I say Asahi? Ashi? Asahiko. Ashiko. I don't remember. This one, of course. Here we are. This is now Mishiba. There's a shrine here. And bingo, he has got the shrine. Now, probably actually, if you went there today, you'd probably find this because that shrine and that gate are probably still there. I said Asahi. Okay, sorry about that. Stuff like this even. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is not part of the rural part of the road. It's a pathway. We know there was lots of these pine trees all in here. We've got the little bridge in the distance coming up to a village. The guys get their cameras out and they find the old road. We're still there. Pine trees around it. Bridge in the distance. Here we have the old Tokaido Road. So back here in the early 1900s, it was still possible. Look at this one. Oh my God, look at this one. Here we go. A couple of people walking down. This is Hara. It's a station. The road is here, no big deal. Just some rice fields and a mountain in the background. Here we are. There's the old road. Rice fields in the front, a mountain in the background. The prints, the drawings, these are from 1835. And these photographs are from 1911. No, I didn't steal it. It's funny. When I'd heard about this book, so I searched for it on the Koshokai, the old bookstore's website, found a copy for 8,000 yen, and ordered it. And at the moment, there's a copy going round and round and round here on Yahoo Auctions, the same book. I think they're asking $16,000 for it, which is about $150, which I thought was kind of a bit too much. Okay, here we go. This is something totally, totally different. Here's the other end of this thing. Kambara. Snow. Hiroshige made his trip in the summertime. So anything like this is completely imaginary. Okay, so this one, it's an imaginary snow, it's an imaginary landscape. Why would he do this? Why not just show the location? Because here's the actual place. There's your road. Kind of interesting, right? So there you are, your Hiroshige. Okay, there's my sketchbook. What am I going to do with this one? Well, my customers have never been here anyway. They don't know what it looks like. So let's have some fun. I don't know the rationale. So this is right. These photos now, there's a bigger time gap between me than there is between. Look at this one. Look at this one. I would have sworn up and down this was imaginary. The deal about the river crossings was the Tokugawa government at that time, they were completely capable of building bridges. There was bridges here, bridges there, bridges in town. The Tokaido had no bridges, and there's two reasons for this. A couple of reasons is those rivers really, most of them are quite wide. The way Japan works, it's a long, thin country that's mountainous. So the rivers run from the mountains straight down to the sea. It's not like America where the Columbia River goes up into Canada, comes back down, winds around, goes here, and 10,000 miles later comes into the sea. Japanese rivers are short, sharp, and vicious. They come off the mountains, bang, right down. And they're mostly, as they hit the sea, they are wide. So it's difficult to put a bridge over such a long area when the water is pouring through. And of course, you've got typhoons, you've got spring melt. Some of the rivers do nothing for most of the year and then get really, really vicious. So anyway, no bridges, so it's all done with men carrying stuff. The rivers are shallow, you can walk across, you carry your clients. Okay, so fine here, we've got this bit of mountain, bit of tree, totally imaginary, of course, clearly. Nope, here's the photo. That's the same river entrance to the sea, and you can see Hiroshige sat there looking at this. He was watching the guys do their carrying back and forth. And here's the print he makes of it. These are insane. These are insane. I never, ever would have expected that most of his Tokaido was so realistic. Again, there's places where there was just nothing for him to draw. Another river crossing, you get a bunch of guys doing their river crossing, and there we are. There it is. There's the river crossing. Where's another interesting one here? Oh, here's one. Excuse me. This is Nisaka. There's a story here that I don't remember. Somewhere there was this stone on the highway or near the highway, and there was a story about the stone. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to know this stuff. It's Nisaka on the Tokaido. There's a story about the old stone. It's long gone, but actually in 1911, it wasn't long gone. It was still right there beside the highway in Nisaka. People looked at it, told the story, took their selfie, or not, and then walked on. The stone is now long gone. Night crying, something. Anybody would remember better than I do. I don't remember it, I'm sorry. Now some of the ones, what they've done here, this is Kakegawa. I mean, this is generic. Anywhere in the Tokaido, there's a bit of a bridge over a swamp, there's a mountain. This could have been anywhere. But the photographers, they did. They've got the Tokaido traced, there's a shrine. They have really tried to match up as as much as they could, even when they were fairly generic things. Then as it goes on and on and on and on and on, here we are. This is you Goyo. Where are we? Goyo. This is one of the most famous images, absolutely one of the most famous images. And in 1911, we still have the same village, still there. Now, long gone, all burned, all destroyed. Then the thing what happens next is as you move on and on and on and on. Oh, look at this. This cannot be true. Wait a minute, this cannot be true. Here's Chiryu. There's a famous horse market. The road went by. There was there was no wheeled vehicles on the Tokaido. The rule was no wheels. Nothing was paved, except in the mountains there was sometimes stones on there, but the flat parts were not paved. They were dirt and graded and whatever. The local authorities had to keep it clean, they had to keep it running, they had to keep water off it, they had to keep it going. But no paving and no bridges. And I mentioned that before, the second reason for doing that, the central government had this deal where all the nobles and whatever who lived in the regional areas, they had to come to Tokyo, Edo, once a year and switch out and switch back. But they were thinking, if it turned out that some of those guys out there got together and decided that they would maybe like to take down the central government, here it is, the central government has built this network of roads which could be used to attack Tokyo. Bring in your armies, boom, up the road, bang, down goes the central government. So as a defense measure, no paving, no bridges, no easy way to have your armies come and attack Edo. Anyway, so there was no carriages, it was horses. It was walking and horses, walking and horses. All the freight went by sea. As I said, Japan, long, thin country, rivers everywhere. All the major cities are on the seacoast. All the heavy freight, rice, whatever, lumber, goes by sea. So horses, horses, horses everywhere. There's the horse market. Catch this tree. Chiryu, they found the same tree. Is that possible? 1834, 1911. By the side of the road, there's a tree. And it's got a bump here, which would tell me that's maybe where there was a branch going out at some point. How long do these trees last? Could that be a same tree? You tell me? But then we get to some of them. They're more generic again, something like this again. We've got a road and the inns going in, and then the road in. So this is dead easy. That really again, but that could have been anywhere. It's not the same building, but it could have been. It could have been anywhere. But then we get to one place. Where are we? It's the place where this. Here we are. This is Kuwana. There's a place where there was a huge bunch of rivers coming out and a huge delta, and nobody tried to walk across it. They all took a boat around the place where there's 3 or 4 rivers coming out. And this is clearly the same place. Hiroshike's been here. There's the port. There was an old castle here at one time. I should have shown you this one first. There's the stone, crisscross stones with the boats coming in and out, and the little castle on top. And in the 1911, the stones were still there, and the castle has burned to the ground. And this is the place where the road diverges. When you stay on the main road, you go through to Kyoto, but this is the split. When you're doing your pilgrimage to Ise, your religious pilgrimage, this is where you go down a different road, the Ise Kaido. All of the prints after this, none of the prints after this show any relation whatsoever to the real thing. Some of them are generic. There's a bridge, there's trees. None of them show that specific, oh my God, he's been there, he has seen that. Some of them are grotesquely strange. Like we saw the snow scene before. There's another snow scene. Kameyama, he's put a castle up on the top here, mountains, snow, people struggling through it. Here's your town. The castle building as it is sits right next to the road. Now the theory is, and this is not my theory, this is Japanese researchers have put this forward over many, many years. They have a theory that Hiroshige is known to have gone down the Tokaido. There was a government group was taking some horses as a present to the emperor in Kyoto, and Hiroshige tagged along with them to do sketching. But the theory by the researchers is that he didn't go all the way. He went to Kuwana, and from there, maybe he took a side trip to do his religious stuff to Ise, then zoom, back he goes to Tokyo. Because none of the prints from Kuwana on to the end are even remotely close. And some of them are, really? Did he actually go there? The castle is right beside the road. It's not up on the top of a mountain. So I don't know. I have no knowledge of the old diaries and stuff like that. But that really is, to me, a red flag. This guy did his trip, took his sketches, went home, and the publisher didn't want to publish. He didn't want a Tokaido partway, then go to Ise. He wanted a Tokaido set. And Hiroshige said, okay, I can do that for you. And the last dozen prints or so in the set, the ones after there. So he phoned it in. And the guy's totally capable of doing that. He knows his old buildings. He knows what the barriers look like. And away you go. A mountain and a valley, just whatever you do. The last one, Kyoto, yeah, we got this. It's the bridge in Kyoto with the mountains and the town in the background, and there it is. But you don't need to be there to do that. That's Sanjo Bridge in Kyoto. Anyway, there it is. I think this is absolute evidence to back up that theory, that he didn't actually go all the way. And maybe he told his publisher and they said, well, whatever, nobody will tell. Or maybe he didn't actually publicize this too much. I don't know. But I think it's there. This is a fun book. I have much more respect for the guy, Hiroshige. I thought it's a bunch of sketches that he sort of put together, completely imaginary. No, this guy was there. He sat there. He looked at these settings. And he tried to do two things. And I'll talk about this in the video that's coming up. Remember, the people who bought the prints had never been down this road or weren't going to get a chance to go down this road. He had to show two things. He had to show what it looks like, and he had to show what it feels like to be there. And like it's not the same thing, you know. You can imagine a camera. Click. There it is. There's what it looks like. Is that what it feels like? No, that's the difference between a picture and a photographer doing something interesting. John, get to it. It's not just what it looks like. It's what it feels like. Then, for me, when I got this book, I got to the end of this. There it is. They've shown a picture of Hiroshige's grave here. It was actually, apparently, too, he was buried without even a grave marker. I mean, it's just Hiroshige, this little guy who did designs, whatever. And then 100 years or so later, after he died, some fans and stuff, government, whatever, they put together an actual grave marker for him. Then there was a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of pages after this with no photographs. And this is Tokaido-chu Hizakurige. The people who published this book have put the whole text in of the original version of the Hizakurige story. You know the one we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the two jokers, Yaji and Kita, who made their way bumbling down the road, destroying everything in sight. The whole text of the book in Japanese is included in this. So I am really happy to get this. It cost me, as I said, about $80 or so to get this. But I'm very happy. And there's another copy right now for sale on Yahoo Auction here in Japan. And I think I can touch my computer without dropping everything. Bring up my browser, bring up my Yahoo watch list. In fact, I'll put the link in case anybody's interested. I think it's too expensive. Oh. Where is it? Here it is. They're asking 18,000 yen. I think it's too expensive. The posts are about 10 kilometers apart. The whole Tokaido is just over 500 kilometers. It's 560 kilometers or something like that. And there's 53 stations. The print set is 55 stations of the Tokaido. But there's the link. This same book at the moment is for sale on Yahoo Auctions. I can't guarantee condition, whatever. I know nothing about it. And I think it's too expensive. And the book's there's no name. It's just Tokaido. It's just book. So you can't search for it. And again, none of these are woodblock prints. Now, this is all. The photographs are offset. No, which is one of these? This is offset. That's collotype. This is collotype. I don't know. It's offset and collotype. It's a mix. None of this is anything to do with woodblock prints, except it's showing you the pictures taken from woodblock prints. Anyway, we are over time here. I have now got to get to my normal regular work. It's Monday. I'll be off now for 3 days. I'll be here Thursday. Probably doing the last print in the Chibi set, or maybe I'll be doing the beginning of the share certificate prints. I'm not really sure. Or maybe we'll be doing something else. I've no idea. Okay, I got to sign off. I got to get out of here. Thanks so much for watching today. A bit of boring stuff, a bit of noisy stuff, and a bit of hopefully interesting stuff. See you Thursday morning. Thursday morning for me, Wednesday night for many of you. And comments please about the audio. I really hope we have found our solution. I hope we found our solution. Should I put the, quietly, should I put the outside stream up and put the outside audio up quietly? And I'll turn my audio off. I'll leave the outside audio on. I'll give you 5 minutes out there, and then I'll come back and shut it down. This is a saxophone. The weeds, the weeds, the weeds. You can't see it from here. Let's move this over just a bit. Welcome to modern Mokuhankan. The weeds are growing. The flickering light, I don't know, it doesn't flicker in real life. I see it flickering on my screen there, but so it's some kind of unbalance. It doesn't flicker in real life, just on the screen. The restaurant next door, that air conditioner, it's so loud. Yeah, floating, look at that. Okay, we'll leave it there. I really do have to get some work done, so I'll go in now and shut it down. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
2回しか見てないかな。